In the last couple of lectures, we learned about different ways of inserting a document in a collection, and we also learned about different methods of fetching documents from a collection. Basically, we learned about create and read functionality in MongoDB collection from MongoDB shell. Now, let's learn about different ways of updating an existing document from MongoDB shell. In Mongo shell, we have methods for updating a single document, and we also have methods for updating multiple documents at once. Let's talk about these methods one by one. So first of all, I'm going to fetch that document which we want to update. For that, we'll say db.users. So I'm going to update a document in the users collection. And on that, I'm going to use the find method. And here I'm going to find that document where underscore ID is 100. Okay, here we can also use find one method because since we are using underscore ID field in the filter, we know that there will be no two documents with the same underscore ID field. So if I use find method, it is going to return us an array with a single document where the underscore ID field is 100. And if we use find one method, instead of returning an array, it is directly going to return us that object, that document where the underscore ID field is 100. So this is the document which we want to update. Here if you see, ID is 100, name is test, age is 32 and gender is female. So let's say for this document, we want to update the age property to 50. And here, since we want to update a single document, we are going to use update one method. So let's see how we can use update one method. So since we want to update a document in the users collection, on this users collection, we are going to use update one method. To this update one method, we need to pass two arguments. The first argument will be the filter object. So first of all, we want to filter those documents which we want to update. So here I'm going to pass a filter object and there I want to filter the document by underscore ID field. So I want to filter that document where the underscore ID is 100. And the second argument will be the document with which we want to update this existing document. So here also we are going to specify an object. In there, first of all, we are going to use this $set property because here we want to set new values for some of the fields. To this set also, we are going to assign an object and in that object, we are going to specify what are the fields we want to update. So here for this document, I want to update the age field to 50. Now here I want to update only a single field, but if you want, you can also update multiple fields. For that, you can specify the field separated by comma like this. So for example, let's say if I also want to update the gender field from female to male, we can also do that. Again, so what I'm trying to do here is to this update one method, I'm passing the first argument, which is the filter object. So this update one method, it is going to filter one document where the ID is 100. And after filtering that document, it is going to update that document. Now what it is going to update there? It is going to set the age property to 50 and gender property to male. So let me copy this query from here and let's paste it here. And when I press enter, you see here we have received some message. It says that the acknowledged is true. That means the document was accepted. We have not inserted anything here, so the inserted ID is null. It found one document which matched this filter criteria and the modify count is 1. That means that one document is also modified. Okay, and upserted count is 0. Now we will understand what this upserted is and how it is different from inserted in one of the lectures of this course. But now if I go ahead and if I filter this document by using this underscore ID field, if I press enter, now you will notice that there the age is set to 50 and gender is set to male. Earlier, the age was 32 and gender was female. So in this way, using the update one method, we can update a single document. We can update the fields of a single document. Let's clear the Mongo shell here. Now, in this example, there was only one document which match this filter criteria. But what if the filter criteria which we are specifying that is satisfied by multiple documents? In that case, will update one is going to update all those documents which matches this filter criteria? No, that will not happen. So for example, let's say I want to filter all those documents where name is, let's say, John. Okay, so here let me first go ahead and let me say db.users.find, and to this find method I'm going to pass a filter object, and there I want to filter all those documents where the name is John. So if I go ahead and if I press enter, we have two documents here where the name is John. In the first document, the gender is male, and in the second document, the gender is unknown. So let's say I want to update this second document where the name is John, and there I want to update this gender property to male. So here we are going to use this update one method. There we are passing the filter criteria as we want to filter the documents where the name is John. And in the document, we want to update only the gender field. We want to update it to male. Now, what this update one will do is this filter criteria, it is going to return us two documents, this document and this document. So this update one method, it is not going to update both the documents. It is only going to update the first document which matches the filter criteria. So in this case, when we want to set the gender to male using this update one method, it is only going to set the gender of this first document to male, and there it is already male. So let me do one thing. Let me try to change it to unknown, or maybe let's try to change it to something which is not there for both the documents. So I'll try to change the gender to female. So this update one, it is only going to change the gender of the first document. Let's see that. Let me copy this and let's paste it here, and let's run this command. Okay, so as you can see, matched count is 1, modified count is 1. So it has only updated a single document. If I go ahead and if I run this find command, and to this find method we are passing a filter object where we are trying to filter all those documents where the name is John. So if I press enter, you see only for the first document the gender has changed to female. Earlier it was male, now it has been changed to female. For the second document, the gender did not change. So this update one method, it is going to update only a single document. If multiple documents matches the filter criteria, in that case it is going to update the first matching document. All right, let's go ahead and let's clear the Mongo shell here. Another point to remember is that if we try to update a field which does not exist on the document, in that case, that field will be first created for that document, and then it will be assigned with the value which we specify in the updating document. Let's try to understand this with an example. So let me go ahead and let me filter the users collection. Let's fetch all the documents where, let's say, name is Steve. Okay, so here we have two documents where name is Steve. This is the first document and this is the second document. Now in the second document, if you see, we don't have any gender field here. We have the name field, we have the age field, but we don't have any gender field. So what I will try to do is I will try to update the gender field for this second document. But here we don't have the gender field. So what will happen if we try to update the gender field for this document where the gender field does not exist? Let's try that. So I'm going to filter this document using this object ID. So let me copy this, and here let's specify underscore ID as that object ID. Okay, and once we have filtered this document, there we want to set the gender to male. Now here what will happen is first we are going to filter this document using this filter criteria, and in there we are trying to update the gender field. But since the gender field is not available in this document, first it will be created and then that field will be assigned with this assigned value. Let's actually see that. So let me copy this and let's paste it here. and let's press enter. So it says matched count 0, modified count 0. That's because we need to copy this complete thing, I guess. Okay, so we also need to specify the object ID. Here I have only copied that string value, but it should be something like this. Let's copy this. Let's paste it again. Let's press enter. And now you will see that matched count is 1 and modified count is 1. And now if we go ahead and if we run that command, that find command, where we are trying to find all the documents where the name is Steve, if I press enter, you will see for that second document, a gender field has been added. Earlier, that gender field was not there. But since we tried to update the gender field on this document, since it was not there, it was added and then it was assigned with the value which we are assigning here. Okay, so let me go and let me clear the shell here. So always remember that the update one method only updates a single document which matches the filter criteria. If multiple documents satisfies the filter criteria, update one will only update the first matching document. Now what if we want to update multiple documents in one go? For that, we have another method called update many. So now let's learn about the update many method. And before we do that, let me go ahead and let me query the users collection. And for querying the users collection, I'm going to use the find method. And there, I'm going to pass a filter object. And there I want to find all the documents where the name is Mark. Let's press enter. So there is only one document where the name is Mark. So instead of that, let's try to filter all those documents where the name is Steve. So here we have two documents where the name is Steve. So now what I want is, I want to update all those documents where the name is Steve and I want to update their gender field to male. Currently, for the first document where the name is Steve, the gender is unknown, and for the second document where the name is Steve, the gender is male. But now I want to update all the documents where the name is Steve, and there I want to set the gender property of those documents to male. And here, since we want to update multiple documents, instead of using update one, we are going to use update many. So here, let me go and let me write that query. So instead of using update one, we are going to use update many method. And to this update many method also, the first argument which we pass is the filter object. Here I want to filter all those documents where the name is Steve. Okay. Then the second argument is the document with which we want to update the existing document. So what we want to do here is we want to set some fields. So for that we are using this $set operator. And what fields do we want to set in the document? Here we only want to set the gender field and we want to set that gender field to male. Okay, so this is as simple as that. Here I don't want to update multiple fields. I only want to update a single field. But if you want to update multiple fields, you can specify that separated by comma, as we have already seen earlier. So let me copy this query and let's paste it here and let's run the command. So you see, matched count is 2, modified count is 1. Now why does modified count is 1 here? That's because only in the first document the gender is not male. In the second document the gender is already male, so it will not be updated. But in the first document the gender was not male, so it has been updated to male, and that's why the modified count is 1 but the matched count was 2. These two documents match this filter criteria. And now if we go ahead and if we run this find method on this users collection, and if we filter all those documents where the name is Steve, you will see that for all those documents, the gender has been changed to male. So using update many method, we can update multiple documents in a single go. And just like update one, using update many also, if we try to update a field which does not exist on a document, it will first create that field on that document and then it will update it. For example, let's say we want to filter all the documents where the name is Steve And there, I also want to update the city property. And let's say city is London. All right. Now, let me go ahead and let me clear the shell here. And let's filter all those documents where name is Steve. So as you see, we have two documents where the name is Steve. And in both of these two documents, we don't have any city property. So if we try to update a city property using this update many method, since that property does not exist on these documents, first it will be created and then it will be assigned with the value which we are specifying here in this updating document. Let's actually see that practically. So let me copy this command and let's paste it here. And if I press enter, you will see that there are two matched counts and two modified count. And if we run this find method again, and if we try to find all the documents where the name is Steve, now you will see that on those documents we also have a city property set with this value London. So if the field does not exist which we are trying to update, then that field will be created and it will be assigned with the value which we are trying to assign here. Let's clear the Mongo shell. Now, what will happen if you don't use this $set operator? So let's say I don't use this $set operator here. I filter all the documents where the name is Steve. And let's also remove these extra curly braces. Okay, so I'm using this update many method. I'm trying to filter all the documents where the name is Steve. And there in the second argument, I'm simply specifying an object where I'm setting, let's say, country to UK. So what will happen if I run this command? Let's see that. So first of all, let me go ahead and let me filter all the documents where the name is Steve. So we have two documents. And now I'm going to run this command. If I press enter, you see we have this Mongo invalid argument error. So it simply says that the update document requires atomic operators. The atomic operator simply means that $set operator in this case. Since we have not specified that, we are getting this error. So if we don't specify the $set operator, in that case, update many is going to return us an error. Now, what if I want to replace the complete document instead of updating single fields? For example, again, let me clear the Mongo shell here and let's filter all the documents where the name is Steve. So here you see we have these two documents where the name is Steve. Now what I want is instead of updating single fields here, I want to replace the complete document. I want to keep the same underscore ID value for these documents, but rest other fields I want to completely remove and use some other fields. How can I do that? Basically, I want to replace this document with a new document. How can I do that? We can do that using another method called replace one. So this replace one method, what it will do is it will replace an existing document with a new document. And it is going to replace only the first matching document. So here I am filtering the document using this filter criteria where the name is Steve. And what I want is there I want to set the city property to let's say maybe Delhi and country property to India. So the new document with which we want to replace this existing document, there we are only going to have two properties. There, let's also keep a name property maybe. So let's keep the name as Steve. Okay, let's go ahead and let's run this replace one command. So if I go ahead and if I press enter, you see the matched count is 1, modified count is 1. Now if I go ahead and if I run this find method and if we try to find all the documents where the name is Steve, now you will notice that earlier the first document where the name is Steve, it has name, age, gender and city property. But now it has name, city and country property. But the object ID will be same. So the object ID starts with 6721 and it ends with B01D. Here also it starts with 6721 and it ends with B01D. So the object ID is same, but rest other fields of this document has been replaced by the new fields which we have specified in this document, in this second argument. As you can see here, so now it has name, city and country property, and the old age and gender property is gone. So if you want to replace an existing document with a new document, we can use replace one method. All right. So to update a document in a collection, we have two methods. We have update one method and update many method. The update one method is used to update a single document in a collection, but the update many method, it is used to update multiple documents in a collection. Also, instead of updating only the fields of a document, if you want to replace the entire document, for that we have replace one method. So this is all from this lecture. In this lecture, I wanted to show you the different ways in which you can update an existing document in a collection in MongoDB. For that, we learned about update one method, update many method, and replace one method. So if you have any questions from this lecture, then feel free to ask it. Thank you for listening and have a great day.